Chris, good morning. Welcome to the Hometown Morning Show. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, I was very impressed. Just moments ago, I had a question and I asked Menji, who turned on the air? Why did we turn on the air? Because it's cold. And I didn't know why we did that.
61.
And there was this normal, like this inside of you reached for the remote for the air conditioning, like you knew exactly where to go and how to reach for it. And I have to tell you, I was sincerely impressed by that, because there are all kinds of, remotes and digits and gadgets in this studio, but you just went right to it. How long have you been in the air business?
A long time. This is what we live every day, right? So seeing those remotes is something I'm familiar with.
Clearly.
So it's normal for us.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Hometown Morning Show. We are so glad you're here. Menji, I'm sure you have some questions for our new friend, Chris. What do you got there?
Well, the temperature is changing. That means most people are probably turning on their heaters for like the very first time this year. So I feel like there's been a lot of stuff that may have been built up, dust. What can people expect?
Ew.
Yeah, it happens often, right?
All right.
When seasons change, systems kind of remain dormant for a long time.
Okay.
You know, when they're turned on for the first time, suddenly put into action, it's not uncommon for issues to come up, right? And those can happen due to age. Those can happen due to lack of maintenance, right? There's a lot of reasons that can be a thing.
I do notice there's sometimes when you put it on for the first time, a little smelly.
Yeah.
A little smelly.
Some dust gets in
it's
there.
not pleasant.
Yeah.
Is that just dust and dirt? Is that what it is? Or what do we need a filter? Like what do you think?
It can be both.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's important to have these things checked, because there can be a lot of causes and reasons for those things to happen. But a lot of times the smell is dust, which can be dust in a filter or dust in the system itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we don't want to be breathing in dust.
Yuck.
No, not at all.
And regular maintenance for these systems is key, right? So simple things like replacing filters, as you mentioned, checking for leaks, verifying component function, that can go a long way to make sure we don't have those failures in an opportune
Wait a minute.
times. Yeah.
That's a what did you just say? Verifying what?
Component function.
Okay, that's a big word
Yeah.
that's a big, Menji and I don't know. I don't think we know that.
That's above our pay grade.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that there's no failures,
Gotcha.
right? So these systems have fail safes, which can be the cause of some of those failures. And if they're
Okay.
not checked and then they fail when it's as cold as it can be outside, it's sometimes not very opportune in timing.
Okay.
And then you're calling someone like me to come fix the problem, as opposed to preemptively making sure that doesn't happen.
And I'm sure you vote for the preemptively. I'm sure you're more proactive than reactive.
It generally pays to be. Yes. It's actually important to have professional inspections, ideally biannually, before the changes of seasons. It can go a long way to catch those issues before they become big problems. Maintenance visits with us, for example, involve many different steps, processes, checks, and those cleanings, so we don't have those smells, by some of the most qualified technicians in the industry. I mean, I even get out there and do some of these calls myself. And for systems like that, or maintenances and programs like that, we offer a lot of flexible payment options to try to make it as easy for homeowners as we can.
Not only payment plans, but Chris, here's the thing. I just don't think of those things. Like how do we remember? It took years, like decades, for us to put together. The analogy in my head right now is when we change the clocks, we change the batteries in our smoke detectors. This concept took years for us to finally remember. So how do we remember months before we're going to use the heat? How can we put that into our brains, our noggins, to get with the program and try and be proactive? How do we do that?
You don't necessarily need to. We can do that for you, right? So if you have a maintenance plan with us, we are reaching out to you before the changes of the season to schedule that, so you don't have to think about that, and you can schedule at your convenience.
Just don't even
Nicely
think.
done.
Turn the switch off.
Nicely done, because I don't like to think, Chris.
Yeah.
So if you can think for me and call me and then schedule, so you do that? You have people who reach out and say, guess what, time to do this. It kind of takes that off our plate.
100%.
That's fantastic. What else you got, Mensch?
But the maintenance sounds a bit expensive. So I'm wondering, are there other, programs, things like that, someone can tap into to actually help with that kind of stuff?
They can. That's more on the replacement end. So the maintenances are actually very inexpensive. We do it for $18 and I want to say 95 cents a month. So you can pay it over the year as opposed to paying per visit. And that comes out, we're coming out twice to check the systems, changing filters, doing all the stuff we mentioned. But in the event a system warrants replacement or someone's interested in making an upgrade, the state and the federal government are currently offering a lot of different programs to help people make these changes.
Oh, really?
They do.
Okay, all
so
right.
we have some cash rebates from the state and some federal tax credits from the federal side. And these can significantly offset the cost of a new system, but the rebates are not guaranteed forever as the funds allocated will eventually run dry.
So I'm assuming if we replace, the reason federal government grants and help is happening is because some of the newer systems may be more energy efficient. Is that why?
Light years more efficient.
Oh, really?
Light years.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
your basic system is more than double the efficiency as a starting point, and it goes up from there of what is mostly in people's houses currently.
And okay, so I have my unit, I'm not going to lie, it's 25 years. It was put in with the house, right? So you're saying something newer than 25 years old is much more efficient. And so ultimately, would I pay less on my bill as well?
You'd be paying less than half to run the system as you do now.
Stop it.
Yep. As a starting point, you can go up from there.
Okay. We're gonna need your phone number.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need Chris to
Should we
come
drop
out.
that right now?
Should we?
Actually,
I mean, Chris, like website, phone number, talk to me.
Yeah, so I mean, you can find us all over the place. On Instagram and Facebook, we are at Hilo Aire, and Aire is spelled with an E.
And Hilo is Hilo.
That's right,
Hilo.
Hiloaire. You can also call us direct at 888 Hilo Aire, spelled exactly the same way.
Okay.
Or you can find us online at hilocool.com.
Fantastic. So we have some work to do, but I love the fact that you call us. I love that you take that off our plate. I love the fact that you have new systems that can actually, we might get a little bit of cash to change it out, number one. But number two, in the long run, long term, our bills can be so much cheaper. And I mean, I appreciate that so much because in a world where everything is so expensive right now, we need all the help we can get. Chris, it was an absolute pleasure having you in studio today. Please come back. Let us know what's going on. We need the latest and the greatest of everything. Once again, grab me a phone number and a website so people know exactly where to go.
Yep, the phone number again is 888 Hilo Aire. That's Hiloaire. Or if that's easier numbers, that's 445-6247. Or you can find us at hilocool.com.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris. I
Thanks.
loved having you in studio.